All right, we're still talking about marriage here in chapter 19. We may be moving a little bit away from it. Here in the next note, talking about commandments. Um, However, that's what we talked about the last two videos, was all about marriage and our circumstances in this country. They're not good. Our mentalities, our goals in life, our pursuits, it's all pretty messed up. Um, I don't get it. I pray for the Lord's will to be done in all things. I want a wife, but I think God is saying to me, you don't want a wife. And I know about all this logically, but is it in my flesh or is it in my spirit that you're attracted to somebody, or you think you're attracted to somebody, or maybe you're just lusting after that person, you know? Um, some people choose to be single. I don't choose to be single. I am single. But I wish that I could be with somebody. Unfortunately, we're spiritually bankrupt. That's what I said last time. So if nobody is seeking after God, how can you get married? You know? And if everybody has had sex with 100 different partners already, how can you join yourself to somebody that has initiated 500 different curses? You know? Marriage, divorce, marriage, divorce. If marriage is initiated by sex, and they've been with all these different partners, and then you join yourself to one of them, you know what? I had a teacher in grade school that made that exact point. Her name was Mrs. Jordan. She was a giant. She was 7 feet tall, but I was like 4 feet tall at the time when I met her, so that may translate. She was like 6'8" or something. But yeah, she was enormous and scary, both in the looks and in her voice. This woman you did not want to mess with. She would, look at how long those arms are. She could throw you across the room. She was a giant. I'm not sure if she ever gave us this speech in my class. That would have helped us. But she gave that speech to my brother. My brother told me about it. And that's true. That has to do with this very topic. So maybe she was secretly a Ruckmanite. She didn't tell anybody. I don't know. But yeah, scary lady. Anyway, we're looking at the note on chapter 19, verse 18 of Matthew. He saith unto him, which? Jesus said, thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. There are two things that stand out in this verse. First, is the rich young ruler's question, which? He would not have asked such a question unless he knew he had violated some of the commandments. Note the plural. That Christ had told him to keep, verse 17. Second, are the commandments which Christ omits from the list in verses 18 through 19. He does not give the first and great commandment, Matthew 22, 37 through 38, nor any of the 10 with which it is associated, commandments 1 through 2. The third commandment on swearing and the fourth commandment on the Sabbath were probably taken for granted. He also does not give the 10th commandment on covetousness, for he was about to test the young man on that one, verse 21. As a side note, it is interesting, in light of this, that the Catholic Church eliminates the second commandment on idolatry from the Decalogue and splits the 10th commandment into 2, so there will be 10. I think Brother Anthony brought that up 100 years ago. I think this was maybe that's what he's hinting at in the other translations. how they manipulate that. But yeah, that's a good point. Which? Saith unto him, which? Jesus said, Thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. All these have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? If thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give it to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven. And come and follow me. When the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. All right, here's the next one's on 23. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. I know the answer to this one already, but let's see what he says in his notes. Christ's warning about rich men in verses 23 through 24 have double application. The first and obvious one is that it is hard for rich men to be saved because they trust in their riches rather than Christ. Mark 10:24, 1 Timothy 6:17. But the second application is a prophetic reference to the tribulation. That's what I was leaning toward. During that time, if you are rich, you are damned. And if you are poor, you are saved, because the only ones who have the money will be those who take the mark of the beast. Revelation 13:15 through 17. For further discussion, see the comments on Matthew 25:34 through 46, Luke 16:19 through 23, and James 1:9 through 11, 2, 1 through 6, 5, 1 through 7. Yeah, I was just in James. That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, that's another way that we're spiritually bankrupt, really. The mentality is just for me to make a bunch of money and get a house, and that gives you an excuse to have sex with whatever you want. And you just make money, and that's it. That's the goal with everything. You trust in your riches rather than Christ. I think I'll be in my job if I stay in the job for. I don't think I'll really get a retirement, but that's fine. I really don't care. Because when I get time off, like today, I don't, like I was saying just recently, I don't have a lot of hobbies that I'm interested in. So free time is actually a detriment to me. So I try to come here and read the Bible and talk about the Bible. So, yeah. So as far as retirement, that's, I mean, when you love this world and you love all your hobbies, then that would be a good thing, right? Have more time to play video games, to watch movies. And now, I don't care. Now, all I care about is people, really. Lately, that's all consuming in my mind. People and the Bible, and promoting that. And so video games and movies, yes, I want to take a month off and just play all these video games and watch all these movies because it would be so great. I mean, it's fun, it's nice to go see a movie once in a while, but when it's all encompassing your life and that's all you care about is going to see the next movie, it just seems kind of an irrelevant distraction. And sometimes it's nice to take a break and watch a dumb Godzilla movie, that's fine. But when all your time is occupied by that, then there's a problem. It's better to stay busy, I think. So, and my job doesn't pay enough to, for you to consider yourself rich, but when you compare yourself to like what people are dealing with in Thailand, Brother Anthony is always offended that I complain about how little I get paid, and then his wife gets paid very little, and she's a nurse specialist and probably doesn't even make a fraction of what I make, and and here I am complaining how insulting that is to him and to his wife. So anyway, rich people, is that your goal in life, just to make money? I could be working at Amazon, I could be working at Jeep, but I'd be working like, sometimes I'd be there all day, and you're making all kinds of money, but what's the end game with all of it? It's just to enjoy and relax, or what? It's kind of sad, our goals. It just doesn't, it's so backward. Anyway. "24. And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God." All the scholars try to make Jesus look respectable by making the eye of a needle a small gate in the wall of Jerusalem through which a camel had to get down on its knees to crawl at night when the city gate was closed. Of course, that isn't what Christ said. See Luke 18:25. And such a gate has never been found in any archaeological dig, so the next step is to change the verse. The Peshitta, the Syriac version of the Bible, says rope instead of camel. But all of this is a waste of time. Christ is being sarcastic. It is one of his outstanding characteristics, and using hyperbole, purposeful exaggeration for the purpose of emphasizing a point. Well, yeah, there you go. So Christ used sarcasm. Wow. And I'm not allowed to use sarcasm. Yeah, that's 28. And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. This verse, I'm sorry. The throne of his glory is never a reference to any throne in glory, heaven. It is the throne of David in Jerusalem, which will sit on the place where the dome of the rock now stands. Jeremiah 3:17, 14:21, 29:16, 1 Chronicles 29:23. It is the place where Jehovah, God, put his name. Exodus 20:24, 1 Chronicles 22:10, 19, 28:3, 29:16, 2 Chronicles 6:6, 32-34, and 7:16. Okay. All right, there's one more note on this verse. This verse is the source for selecting 12 jurors to try a case. For here is a judgment that takes place at the second advent, and it has 12 people judging. Psalm 149, 6-9. How about that? I got picked again for jury duty, but I've got a high group number, 812, I think. And I tried to get out of it again, but they said, this is Toledo. The last time you did it was Toledo Lucas County Court of Common Pleas. It was a murder trial. on a kid doing a drive-by shooting. And I got out of that by telling them about my education and about our thieves in the store. And they decided they didn't want me. I could not be an impartial juror guy, so they got me out of there. But anyway, but yeah, that was Lucas County Court of Common Pleas, and now I have Toledo Municipal Court. And apparently you can be summoned by every court in the area. Those two courthouses are right next to each other, basically. So I guess I'm going to be, but group number 812, hopefully I'm going to be, and that's sad to think like that, you know, because unfortunately, that's the circumstances in this country, you know. Like I was saying with being spiritually bankrupt, I think we're bankrupt of justice also. We have a president in there right now that's illegitimate. And that's my perspective. Maybe you're a communist that thinks everything's fine, but I don't believe in our justice system anymore. I don't think there is any justice in this country. Now, when Jesus Christ rules, then I'll be interested in being on a jury, maybe. I'll do jury duty for you anytime, Lord, if you want me to decide something, but though I am not worthy. But as far as this country right now, you know, it's so bankrupt. It's so hypocritical, so backward and confusing. And you want a wife, but never mind. I could keep going on and on about it, but how much more do we have of Matthew? I think we have a lot to go here, really. 28 chapters in Matthew. Man. Yeah, we're probably going to be here for another month. That's fine. And then we'll be looking at, I'm not sure what I'm going to go to next, but we'll see. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.